Hello, everybody. Can somebody tell me if I'm live here? I just want to make sure that I'm good. I'm guessing that I'm live. So, hello, welcome everybody. I am Alanna Starr Schimmel, and all these beautiful Gaia and Wisdom Keepers. I'm so grateful to be invited to join this wonderful summit. Thank you to our gracious host, Patricia, and thank you to Mariposa for my introduction. My presentation today goes really well with the way Mariposa ended hers, speaking about the ways that we can connect with the universe and receive signs and symbols that you're being communicated with. It was exactly the message that I got when I meditated on what I wanted to present today. Synchronicity was definitely at the forefront. So I also decided to share a story today because I know that there's much power in storytelling. So yeah, I'm just really excited to be here and to share this special story to me. So, um, I'm sure many of you might have read my bio already, but for those of you who haven't, I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I have specialties in past life regression, women's mysteries, the red tent. I'm a two-time co-author, and I have been practicing multiple modalities of trying to understand disease and the spirit and how we can mend that gap. And definitely love to share insightful wisdom and magic in all ways that I can. I'm a full-time mother, so I love to study and write, and so I'm really happy to be here to share the awakening to the heart of Sophia, as the title I chose for today, because all that I do, it really goes back to my path to awakening with her guidance, her love, and her continuous support. And of course, my plant life art, which is what brought me here today, due to my good friend Radha, who I wanted to just give a shout out and a thank you to for her pushing me to share my work. And most certainly, I'm grateful for that. So, when it comes to Sophia, I will describe her a little bit and share some other stuff on her. But um, I'll say that it took me a really long time to believe in myself, that I was worthy of being an emissary, a pillar of light for the goddess, right? To be a disciple of Sophia's wisdom. And it's truly been an honor to be a sacred scribe and to be a divine feminine wisdom keeper. I would study numerous teachers, Sovienic scholars over the years, John Lam Lash, author of Not in His Image, Kaya Rov, Sophia Code, Ascension Glossary, Lisa Renee, the Keys of Enoch authors, the Pistis Sophia, this and Essene Teachings of the Way. And I never felt that I could possibly know enough to be worthy, because there's just so much endless work out there and knowledge out there. But I knew that it was pure magic for me to come to find similar ways to describe how all these different teachers and people, Carl Jung, they had these beautiful interactions and discoveries of Sophia, and um, and actually I found Sophia through um, a whole different ballgame. And but along the way, I've studied these teachers, and I was just amazed and almost overwhelmed because I wanted to be at that level where I could understand. And it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't just the knowledge, the accumulation of knowledge, but it was the sitting with myself and being with the understanding of wisdom, which is what Sophia means. And I did a lot of self discovery, a lot of healing work to get where I am today. You know, to say that along with my holy higher self, that I know without a shadow of a doubt that it's Sophia that is one of my main guides. And it's Sophia that guided me to share the story of what I'm going to share today, which is about a talking stick. It is a very magical talking stick that I found about 8 years ago on the ground. And this stick is very special to me, most indeedly connected to Gaia, to Pachamama, our holy mother of all the living, Gaia Sophia. And so before I begin with the talking stick, I wanted to read a small passage from the book Pillars of Light, Goddess Activations, in my chapter, and to give you a little glimpse of what Sophia means to me. And for those of you who are not familiar with Sophia, which is wisdom, um, it's just what it means to me, because I can spend hours, if not days, talking about how I found her and all the brilliant research and how one can, find her on this journey. But I'm just proud of this accomplishment, so I wanted to share the passage here. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to share this little passage, and then we will carry on. It is the Holy Mother of all life, in the name of the goddess Sophia, that I called upon to activate me deeper into the sacred mysteries. There are countless ways to describe who and what Sophia is. In short, she is known as divine wisdom in Greek, intelligence, and cleverness. She is known in many cultures, and is wisdom who has guided every other goddess and ascended master throughout the ages and generations. She is behind the fallen goddess scenario, and some would argue that she is the force behind the Taoist The Way, King Solomon's wisdom, and Jesus and Mary Magdalene's teachings. And might I add that many even would call Magdalene Sophia as an embodiment of Sophia. Sophia is Gaia, and Gaia is Sophia, and ultimately, Sophia is the wisdom of the Earth Mother, of all the living. She descends and ascends from heaven to earth, animating all the elements. She is the feminine principle of the Godhead of Chokmah on the Kabbalah tree of life, and Sophia is divine insight, pure inspiration, and a deep inner knowing at the very core of our existence. Of course, this is all up for interpretation based on each individual's experience with the divine Sophia. And there's much to discover, and while I have learned a great deal in my studies, I know the value of one's personal journey of researching who and what Sophia is to them, as she awaits her children to seek her, know her, and be filled with her Holy Spirit. So that is a passage from my chapter in the Goddess Code, or Goddess Activations and Pillars of Light. And so now I'm going to get into the story about this talking stick, because this is, it's very much connected to my art. And and for the devotion of my understanding of Gaia Sophia is rooted in my passion and connection to plant life and flowers and my EarthDNA Art Collection mentioned in the title of this presentation today. So when I was younger, I would find myself collecting and preserving flowers and plant life, such as I brought some samples. So I would collect flowers and acorns, and I mean, I had it all over my room. It was literally everywhere, all over my house, and everywhere I've ever lived. I didn't know that I would become an artist and making wreaths and ornaments and frames that I do today. It really just unfolded continuously, and my fiance now, he is the one who pushed me to make art with this stuff. So I preserve flowers, and I believe that they are just as beautiful when they are preserved as they are when they are alive. And I like to take what many would throw in the trash and save them. And over time, I would be communicated with through Gaia, and she would make it clear to me that she loved being able to be seen and preserved this way, because it truly is magnificent. I mean, I realized that plants and plant life they're literally, some of them are so fuzzy, it's almost like an animal. So John Lam Lash, the writer and author of Not in His Image, who is a Sophianic teacher, he calls Gaia, the earth, he calls her Pam, which is planetary animal mother. And because the earth literally is like a living animal, and it just, what it gives to us is unbelievable. I mean, as you all know, we wouldn't have pretty much anything we have without her. So anyway, we'll talk about this talking stick and how it all relates back to my love for Sophia. So finding this talking stick was really incredibly enchanted, and it showed me just how present the elements in nature are for us, even when we don't see it. And I learned this during ayahuasca ceremonies as well, working with plant medicine. As you will notice in those experiences, the plant will always show you things that you'd be like, wow, how did you know to show me that? It's because they're connected to everything. And so when I found this talking stick, it was during a time that I was extremely interested in the 12 tribes of Israel, the biblical terms, and also a spiritual term for the the beings who came here to help ascend the planet, right? I found the theme connected to the 12 disciples, the zodiac, the 12 months, and I was very intrigued by numerology and still am. But by this time, I was already deep into my spiritual awakening and connecting deeply with Mother Earth and her rhythms. And I had been experiencing synchronicity like every single day. It's pretty mind blowing. Um, the symbols and signs and synchronicities that I was given, it's really phenomenal. But there's this one day that I felt so connected to the number 144,000 and the biblical terms. So I started to research and learn about the prophecies that have been foretold, and I knew that there was a connection, and yet I couldn't put my finger on it. I began to research online for some for signs that someone would be a part of the 144,000. And of course, most that I found was biblical, and I was mind blown of some of the findings in there because I'd already had a deep connection with the Holy Spirit, and so this was like very special. And I came across one site in particular that said, if you truly feel that you are part of this number, then pray, deeply pray. And so that night, I prayed like I have never prayed before. And I asked if I was truly a starseed, a light worker, or someone special to God that was sent here to do these things. Because, you know, I've gone through a lot of suffering and pain in my life, and I've always found ways to get through it. But I felt like maybe suffering, you know, because we had to come into this world to, I mean, maybe this is a defense mechanism, but maybe we come in here to really wake up, and it has to hurt to fall so hard to wake up, to remember who you are. And so I had, you know, these crazy ideas back then, and they're still pretty crazy, but I love it, and I'm dedicated to it. So um, I asked if I was, you know, part of this number, 144,000, and if this is part of my connection, what I'm here to do, please, 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 God, send me a sign, and you know, talk to me, tell me, show me an unmistakable sign that this is what I'm here to do, and I would do it, and I will share it. And I went into meditation, and I began to speak in light language. In case my English language didn't make the cut in prayer, I spoke in light language, and I sang it, and I just was so deep into it, and I went into myself, and it felt so good. And then I went to sleep, and first thing in the morning, I began to get ready for work, and already I'm having synchronicities. I mean, I woke up at 7:44 when I set my alarm for 7:30. You know, back then I was a film crew, a professional film crew booking agent at the time, and I got ready to head to the office, and I received an email right as I was leaving from a client who asked me to pick up a check from her office directly. My whole year and a half working there, I had never been asked to pick up a check in person. Usually it's been mailed to our office. And I accepted because it was in the area and along the way. And she sent me the address, and lo and behold, the address was literally 1444 Lankershim Boulevard in North Hollywood. I laughed. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is my sign. I didn't mean anything else. I would have been good with that because I felt that was enough. I mean, that was incredible to receive that sign, that 144, like 1444 was the address. I was just mind blown. So I went and went to the office, and I texted her and let her know that I was there, and she asked me to park, to just wait outside for her, that she would be right down. So I assumed it was in the front, and I parked my car, and I left my car running, and I left my phone in there, and I just got out and waited by the door. And typically I would take my phone, but I just left it in there, and I was waiting, just like waiting. 3 minutes, 4 minutes pass, and I'm thinking, where is this lady? And as I'm about to walk back to my car, I look down on the grass on the side of the door, and I see this talking stick. And I pick it up, and I look around, and I was like, what in the world? Are you kidding me right now? Like, what is this thing? I mean, I was just like, this is a joke, right? Anyway, I'm still waiting for her because I thought maybe she could tell me whose it was or tell me something for it. And because film crew people, they have props and things like that, and so I'm still waiting there. And then I decide to just go back to my car. And as I'm turning around, I see there's a man standing there. He's an African American man. He looked at me. He was wearing this like really cool top hat, and he had like this cane kind of thing. And I look over and I was like, "Excuse me, do you know whose this is?" And he goes, "No, what is that?" And I said, "Honestly, I don't know. I just feel like it's mine. I don't know. I just feel like it's mine, but I just found it." And he goes, "Maybe it is yours." And I was like, "Okay, well, thank you. I hope you have a good day." And he says, "You too. I'm just waiting for my Uber." And the way he said it was like my Uber. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then his car arrives as I'm getting back into my car. And he looks over at me. He gives me a wink. And I look over and it's actually a lift. And it has the lift symbol and it almost looks like wings. And I was like, "Oh goodness, this is intense." He just like winked at me and then they drove off and I got in my car and she goes, "Where are you? I'm waiting outside for you." And I said that I've been in the front. I don't see you. She goes, "Oh, I'm in the back." I'm like, "Oh God." So if I would have gone to the back, I would have never found the stick. So I go to the back, I get the check from her, and I asked her, "Do you know whose this is?" She goes, "No, but that's really cool." And so, anyways, I leave and I go to work and I'm just like still mind blown at it. And I become even more mind blown because I'm going to read the words to you guys um, that I think is very symbolic for the times we're living in and um, for what I'm sharing today, for the message I'm sharing today, is how powerful it is when we converse with the universe and we pray and ask for signs and what we can receive when we believe. I have a saying that blessed are those who ask for a sign by way of a bird. Blessed are those who believe they are heard, because you have to believe that you are that important and that powerful to receive that wisdom, and to know that God, a spirit, like wants you to pay attention and receive and make the life that you're living enchanted. Because I believe the fantasy is really ours first. Like it's before this reality had to occur, fantasy had to exist. And I think that's why many of us are so um, called and pulled towards maybe the occult or towards mysticism, because there's a part of us that resonates with it. And when we truly look inside of ourselves and ask for that, we can really receive that. And this was one time where I was just so grateful to receive. Um, and for what I was asking about the 144,000, you'll see these words are pretty incredible. The first one says that the new kings, and when we think of biblical terms, there's always the King's Version Bible, right? Old version, the Old Testament, but there's always King James, right? There's the king is always involved, but the idea of bringing new kings into the world, the idea of being a king, of being a righteous, a good king who brings loyalty and respect and honor, and the divine masculine. And also in the cardology and cartomancy, I'm a king of diamonds. So for me, that was very symbolic, that for me, in connection to me. And the other one says, we were never slaves. Um, we were never slaves. I mean, that's so powerful, thinking about the idea of reincarnation and being stuck in the wheel and reincarnating over and over again because we don't realize how our suffering works and how we are here to overcome our pain and suffering and our attachments. And so the idea that we come into this world at free will, that we're not, yes, we could be in a prison planet, but we also have this free will and we have the power to change our reality. So the idea that we were never slaves, that we come in at free will, really became strong in understanding this one. And the last one says, "O King me savage." "O King me savage." When I had my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Sarah Larson, she's a medical intuitive doctor, I asked her if she can help me interpret the stick. And she says, and it made me understand, but "O King me savage." So your higher mind, your higher senses, your consciousness rules over your animalistic qualities. Like you have the power to ascend and feel, I mean, and think higher and be above the influence of our nature, our lower natures that can cause us to stay stuck in this wheel of, I guess, the reincarnation cycle of just not knowing how to heal our karmic cycles, right? And so, O King Me Savage, like we are rulership. The king is, we rule over our lower animalistic qualities. And ascension is what I'm pretty much getting at. So um, I think that this story is it's just so amazing, and there's so much more to it that has happened since then. And since I do have some time, I can share that. Even following the next day, I went to a bookstore, and it's an old bookstore, and there's a bunch of like a big occult section, and my friend Catherine's there, and I told her all about the stick, and I was literally high off life for the first week after that, because I knew that, you know, this communication was real, and that I was truly feeling this and sensing it and experiencing it, and I wanted to share it. And she's pretty open-minded, but she pointed to a book up on the shelf, and she said, "Look, Alanna, a new earth is coming." And I pulled the book down off the shelf and I opened it, and it literally said 144,000. And I mean, I can't remember exactly what it said, but I have the book and I meant to grab it, but it was about the 144,000, and it was about prophecies around this time that we were living in. And I was just mind blown. Still, I was still mind blown, and I pretty much am just trying to convince you that synchronicity is just so real. And I know many of you listening probably have these experiences already. And just the synchronicity with the ending of Mariposa's video today before me, and the presenter after, will she be sharing about light language. And, you know, so there's definitely always something to look for when it comes to our spirituality and in your spiritual seeking that you can find in between our experiences in life. So I find it really beautiful and just really fascinating. And that at the end of the day, I find that Sophia is always the one weaving all of this together. You know, whether it's her emissaries, the goddesses that we all work with, whether it is an ascended master or Christos Sophia, the Christ consciousness, I believe that it is all weaved together, and it's all beautiful. And it's incredible. And even a couple years after I found the stick, I was invited to speak about synchronicity with the Universal Consciousness 1111 tribe, who when they invited me to speak, the address of their location was 144 Topanga Canyon. So I mean, it's just literally nonstop. And it's not even like an obsession kind of way either, because I know that there's some people that can make fun of it, like it's obsession, but I don't look at every single thing as something that like it has to be magic, it has to be synchronicity. No, it's really just what makes sense and what doesn't. It's like, okay, well, this works, you know, and that doesn't. You know, I'm not going to look at every single thing and get my life off track and not be grounded here on this earth. Because when we tap into this magic, I believe the idea is to be grounded here in this earth, in this plane, and be here with each other and the presence, and weaving heaven on earth. And that's what, at the end of the day, I think that all the prophecies and all the great teachers, like that is what it's really about, to bring that vibration of higher consciousness, of living prosperous and bringing love and truth and wisdom and the actual teachings of the goddess, which is wisdom, understanding, mercy, and compassion, forgiveness. And these are tough things. These are very tough things for all of us, because the density here, it can really drag us down when we get into, you know, our lower mind. And so with that being said, I know that was a mouthful, but I really find that story to be super powerful, and just expressing how nature communicates with us, and I guarantee you that you have some synchronicities yourself after this, because that's what it's here for. It's here for us to realize. And so Sophia has brought herself to my attention, and I was led to receive her light in the most random and divine ways. And I may use the word divine because it's truly, I have no other word to describe all the glorious miracles that Sophia's story creates in the seeker's heart. And it reminds me that we are the fantasy. We are the magical divine beings that have to remember who we are, and then the doors of creative energy open to us. And I've fought with my ego to remain quiet, because I never felt worthy of such great doctrines of the heart, considering all the pain that I've worked through. But it's because of working through the pain and being aware of it that I have worked so hard, that it's clear, that it becomes more clear and it's purified. And Sophia is able to pour her glory into us and into me. So our bodies can be a temple of crystal light energy, So I would like to read a couple quotes from Lisa Renee's Ascension Glossary about Sophia. And it says that we could not feel our God source connection any longer, nor our connection to our mother and the female principles of balance. And we now begin to change these events, the painful events, even the negative agendas that have taken place here, by becoming aware that it happened so we can repair and heal it. And the author John Lash would call this Sophia's correction, that she is literally trying to correct everything that has gone wrong here. And every time we take a step forward and say, I'm going to come from a place of understanding, forgiveness, love, and compassion, forgiveness in any way, we're actually doing that work for her. We're doing God's work. And, when we are connected to the earth and we see that it's feminine, we can then connect with the spiritual aspect of the divine feminine, Sophia, the wisdom always present around us and within us. So the return of Sophianic consciousness, by recognizing the importance of the divine feminine, is needed to shift the consciousness of humanity. And it is essential if we are to effectively deal with the ominous problems facing the world today. In order for humanity to fulfill their evolutionary potential, we must learn how to fully actualize both the human and divine aspects of our spiritual nature. The restoration is the animation of the Holy Spirit of God to, in spirit, through elemental matter, and to collect its pieces to return them back to wholeness. And wow, that is just so beautiful. And it's, this is the way that we help her, is by answering the calls for forgiveness, radical forgiveness, compassion, kindness, in any ways that we can, embracing the teachers, the healers, the body workers, those people, the Reiki, the sacrocranial medicines, all the people that are doing this great work to help us become whole in our mind, body, and spirit. There's just so many areas where we can find help and people that want to help. And I believe in putting Western and Eastern medicine together and just, doing whatever we can to become whole. And that's important. We have to find the cracks and let the light in, and then mend that space so we can be fully present. And so that's really the basis of what I wanted to share today. So, this is more than just a talking stick. It's a symbol of enchantment, and a symbol of speaking, and just a reminder that we are not prisoners after all. We are not slaves to the system, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that every time there's a hardship, there's an ebb and flow. The pendulum always swings in a direction, and nothing ever rests, really. Everything's always moving, and we need to get very comfortable with the unexpected, and just remain open to Sophia's love. And I think that that's where the magic will happen for us. So I hope that I didn't talk too fast, and then I'm pretty sure I did, because that's one of the things I do, but especially when I'm excited to share something. And I hope that everyone gets to really tap into their synchronicity and get to know themselves on all levels across all time and space, and receive their fullness of what they are here to be. And with that being said, thank you to Patricia, and thank you to all the other presenters that are bringing your beautiful voices to the forefront, and because it's needed at this time. And so I'd like to share with you guys a little bit about our next presenter. And oh, well, I didn't get a chance to talk about my art very much, but I do make art, as I said, with dried flowers. I make wreaths and I make ornaments, which I will post a link below to my, and I also tagged that account, but it's called EarthDNA Art. You can find me on YouTube, not YouTube, Instagram. It's EarthDNA, and also on Facebook, EarthDNA, and I make glass ornaments. I take people's wedding flowers or baby shower flowers, and I can make beautiful wreaths with them. And yeah, it's just something I love to do, and it's important to take these little gems and make art with them, because they're not trash. They're super beautiful still, even when they're dry. So maybe I'm a dork, but Etsy loves this kind of stuff. Anyway, thank you so much again. Our next presenter will be on at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Her name is Leah Sonaria, also known as the Flow Priestess. She is doing an intro to Egyptian alchemy and Hathor activation, which is beautiful, because Hathor is also in the Sophia Codex, and was a follower and a speaker and a truth teller and a goddess of the Sophia tribe. So yeah, so Leah is a transformational guide, a quantum activator, and a ceremonial space holder. After selling her 7-figure yoga clothing business in 2019, she embarked on an intensive healing journey that led her to discover her purpose as a spiritual mentor and ceremonialist. Beautiful, I love that. So through dance, breathwork, plant medicines, tantra, flow arts, and she's activated her flow, consciousness, and creatrix power. Her deep study and practice of the divine feminine mysteries unlock her medicine as a light language channeler and sonic octavist. Wow, tell me that doesn't flow with what I just talked about. That's amazing. Plant medicines, dance, spiritual ceremonialist, I love it. I bet this is going to be amazing. Light language is super powerful. So as a devoted priestess of Isis and Hathor, she's worked with Egyptian alchemy to support visionary creatives to activate their highest soul blueprints and birth their creative legacies with flow and ease. You can find her at theflowpriestess.com and Flow Priestess for Instagram. So it seems like she has an incredible immersion. It's a Embody the Creatrix 8-week immersion for channeling your gifts. That sounds amazing. So I hope you guys tune in with her. She is at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. All right, I know I'm a little, as I said, I talk fast, so I'm pretty much at the end. I'm going to go through some comments and see what everybody's saying. It's juicy and wonderful. I love it. Okay, you want to see some art. You know, Alanna messed up because she didn't bring her ornaments out, because I have a toddler and I forgot. Sorry, but I have one of my wreaths here, and I use a lot of these are magnolias from Magnolia Boulevard. I just like to go on walks and I collect things, or I will snag things that people are going to throw in the trash. This is literally something I just found because I thought it would dry really nicely. And you know, some people have a green thumb. I have what you call a dry thumb. So yeah, I dry stuff, and Unfortunately, I didn't bring, but I am gonna post under, and you guys can see my ornaments. I make, I squeeze beautiful dried pieces into glass ornaments for the trees, or you can hang them in your house like witchy balls. They're blessed with Palo Santo, and yeah, it's just a way to show our planetary animal mother that she's beautiful and she likes to be on display. So another way that I'll do this since I have time is, if you can see here, this is like furry. This is a magnolia tree, and it literally looks like an animal. It's just fuzzy and furry. So yeah, I don't have any more around me, so but I do. I guess I do have some things. Like I put in the frames, I make little things. These are just kind of practice rounds that I've done. But nonetheless, the wind is blowing strongly right now. An affirmation, yes. Yeah, I've actually, not to sound cocky or anything, but I have actually, when I was more connected, I used to be much more connected before. You know, I think the pandemic really kind of threw me off a lot from my spirituality. But before, I literally would be able to make the wind move. I would use my hands and I would use my breath, and the wind would it would blow back. It would blow back to me, and I think that anybody can do it if you just really make that connection. But I've been told that from different psychics that elements come to me, so I'm gonna guess that's why. But yeah, it's pretty powerful and pretty cool. So just gonna go one more time. I'm so happy to meet you too, Cynthia. Thank you so much for being here and listening, and everybody else. I hope you enjoy the rest of this summit. I'm going to go ahead and end it here at 37 minutes, okay? Much love to you all, and bye for now.